Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 340 of bulking to 75 kilos with calisthenics only, and today we have another pull day. It's gonna be a quick one because I wanna head to bed early, and basically that's because yesterday's training took quite a long time and I got to bed very late. But, you know, when it comes to training, I think the most common excuse almost is like, well, I don't have the fucking time, right? And basically, I think it's also one of the weakest excuses you can come up with, because when it comes to training, people think like, oh, you know, I can't train because I can't go to the gym 3 times a week, you know, I can't train every day like I do, you know. So my answer to that is basically, well, then fucking don't, you know, don't go to the gym 3 times a week, don't train every day, you don't have to, right? And, you know, case in point, when you take two people, right, one person is like, they both don't have time, right? And one is like saying, well, I don't have the time, so I don't train at all. And the other one is like, well, I don't have the time, but once a week on Sunday, I'm just gonna spend 1 minute to do max push-ups, you know, do as many reps as possible in 1 fucking minute. You know, who of those people is gonna make the most gains? It goes without saying, right? I don't have to answer the question for you. You can do it yourself. But then, you know, you also have to ask yourself, like, yes, you're busy, but are you so busy that you can't even spend 1 minute every week, right? I think that's a question you have to answer yourself, but if your answer is no, I think you're most likely lying to yourself. I think it's more of a problem of willingness to train. And of course, it's not optimal, right? But I mentioned this a couple trainings ago in a different context. Focus on what you are able to do. Focus on what you can do rather on what you have to do, right? For training, you don't have to do a lot to progress, but you can do a lot. And vice versa as well, right? You can train a lot, but you have to train a lot, I guess, to make insane progress. But you know, you can also just train very little, do what's possible for you, and take it in the sense that, you know, even the smallest amount has value and it's gonna give you some progress. So get fucking on with it, you know, because there is no way that you don't have any time to train. And even the smallest amount of training that you do in a week, it's gonna add up in the long run. So yeah, that's it. Every day you have an opportunity. You can ask yourself, do I have even the slightest amount of time? Do something, you know, do like 1 minute of push-ups, do like some jumps, like do some sprints when you're on your way to the supermarket. I don't know, do something, right? And yeah, that's basically it for the yap today, but I'm gonna get started with front lever workout. Today is gonna be straight arm focused. So what I'm gonna do is 8 sets of 27 seconds, which is 1 second more than last time, or at least I'm gonna try and do that. And the remaining time will be rest time. So 4 minutes of rest and then 27 second sets. Right, so basically I'm gonna start from an L hang, do straight arm raises, I guess, into the front lever, keep it every now and then. I don't have like a set amount of reps that I want to do. I just want to make my set 27 seconds. And yeah, I don't know how many sets I'll be able to do that, but let's just get started and see what happens. Alright, 7 more to go. This workout is never easy, but it is fucking worth it, you know. Not only the back pump, but also the strength gains. I really feel like the front lever has been starting to feel lighter. Yeah, lighter lately, so let's get on with it. Fucking hell. This was set number 5. Form is certainly breaking down. I'm gonna attempt one more set, but holy fuck. This is a back pump fitting to the Akatsuki theme from Naruto. Holy fucking shit. Fuck yeah. Alright. My back is feeling tired as shit. Last 2 sets, I'll be doing normal raises from a dead hang into inverted hang. So I'm going to go past the front lever and then drop back down into the front lever as like a negative and try to hold it for a little bit. But the reason this is easier is because, you know, when you do your L hang, I guess. I cannot fucking speak. When you do your L hang and you move into the front lever, you're pushing against gravity to pull yourself into a position that is difficult in and of itself, you know. So the difficulty, like the normal front lever difficulty, even increases because as you're going into the position, you already have to spend extra energy, you know, trying to get into it. But when you go from the top down into the front lever, you're helping gravity, you're allowing gravity to help yourself, you know, lower into the position, and then you can hold it there, so it's more efficient. Oh, fucking hell. Alright, so I've been re-watching some of the front lever clips of today's workout, and I must say I look a bit chunky, you know. You can see it in the belly that I've been pushing the food on in the last couple days, I guess, because I've been pushing 76 kilos as a morning weight, and you know, I definitely feel it. I feel good, don't get me wrong, but I feel a bit heavy, I feel a bit chunky, and you know, at 74, 75 kilos, I was actually still feeling quite light. So yeah, I think after the bulk is done, I'll be lowering down a little bit, but anyway, as for today's workout, it was quite fun, you know. I had a sick pump, and basically the sets were super hard. I mean, I've been trying to do these 8 sets of straight arm front lever sets for the last couple trainings now, and I started at 25 seconds, now 26 and 27, but I really feel like I should, you know, keep it at the same amount of seconds for a while now, because the difficulty on this is so difficult, and I feel like sometimes I trap myself in this way of thinking of, you know, if you want to progress, you should do more and more and more, but sometimes you just have to focus on the quality. So I feel like it wouldn't hurt me to keep focusing on sets of 25, 26, 27 seconds until I can do 8 of them properly, because, you know, if you think about it, with my other front lever training for the pull-ups, I've been doing 5 sets of 12 for super long, you know, and every time it's not like I wasn't making progress. I wasn't doing the same thing. Instead, I was doing the same sets of, or the same 5 sets of 12 reps, but I was either improving the form a little bit, or, you know, most of the time I should say, I was increasing the difficulty, doing more difficult variations, perhaps adding some more weight, right? And I also progressed quite a lot that way. So I feel like for the front lever holds, I can do kind of the same thing where I try to progress, you know, I try to become better at the same sets over time. And, you know, it's the small progress in these cases that really matters. When you, like, for the front lever, this was the case for me, it wasn't really a priority. And so that made it okay to progress very slowly. But, you know, by accepting that and by thinking it's okay to progress slowly, I was actually, in the long term, progressing very rapidly because I wasn't ever like pushing myself too far, and I was progressing bit by bit. And, you know, there wasn't any injury, there wasn't any systematic fatigue, and it was just one consistent train of, you know, very small but consistent progress, and it just heaped up into, you know, basically achieving my best ever form or best ever level in front lever pull-ups. I think I'm gonna be able to perhaps do the same with the front lever raises, but yeah, that's it for today's training. Half an hour, not long. You don't need a lot of time. You know, is it optimal? Of course not, but if you're in a situation where you're pressed for time or you're stressed out and you really don't feel like training, then, you know, first of all, don't worry about the ideal training, you know. It's not like training is this thing of a 0 and 100. It's not an on and off switch. You can, you know, either do your training like if 0 is training not at all, like not training at all, and 100 is like the optimal training, there's still all of these levels in between basically that you can pick. I feel like oftentimes when people start to work out, they immediately want to optimize everything and do it the perfect way and get that 100% efficiency. But it's not necessary, you know. If you're not training at all today, you know, and you start doing, like I mentioned in the beginning, 1 set of push-ups a week, that's more than you used to do. So that's already an improvement. Everything is an improvement if you weren't even training before. And that's the most important thing to think about. You know, that's an important shift in your mindset, because if you focus on the thing that you're able to do to improve compared to yesterday, that's the first step into actually, you know, improving in long term. So that's what I want to aim for. And yeah, that's what I'm going to keep doing. So basically, that's it for today's workout. I'm going to have my dinner and go to bed early. And yeah, get a good night's rest for tomorrow's leg day, which is gonna be insanely heavy. So I'll see you then.